The Love Bombing Trap, Deciphering Dynamics in Modern Relationships by Life Success. Introduction. In the realm of human connections, nothing is more bewitching than the promise of love at first sight, yet nothing more deceptive than its illusion when it morphs into a mirage. Love, in its purest form, is the most sought-after treasure in our lives, a beacon of hope and happiness. Yet, in the complex dance of relationships, there exists a phenomenon as perplexing as it is painful: love bombing. This book, The Love Bombing Trap, Deciphering Dynamics in Modern Relationships, embarks on an exploratory journey into the heart of this enigmatic experience. In the chapters that follow, we unravel the intricate layers of love bombing, an emotional roller coaster that begins with a shower of affection and attention, creating a facade of a perfect relationship. However, this facade soon crumbles, leaving behind a trail of confusion, self-doubt, and emotional turmoil. Through this book, you'll navigate the highs and lows of such intense romances. You'll learn to recognize the signs of love bombing, understand its psychological underpinnings, and explore its impact on the self. This is not just a narrative of caution, but also one of empowerment and healing. The insights and analyses presented here aim to guide you through the process of regaining your sense of self-worth and preparing you for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. The Love Bombing Trap is a testament to the resilience of the human heart. It's an invitation to delve deep into the dynamics of modern relationships, to distinguish between overwhelming affection and genuine love, and to emerge wiser and stronger on the other side. This book is more than a guide. It's a companion on your journey towards emotional clarity and authentic connections. So, let us embark on this journey together, with open hearts and minds, ready to unravel the mysteries of love bombing and to reclaim the narrative of our own love stories. Chapter 1. Understanding Love Bombing. In this chapter, we delve into the intricate dynamics of love bombing, a phenomenon that has become increasingly prevalent in modern relationships. By understanding its nuances, we can better navigate our emotional landscapes and foster healthier, more fulfilling connections. Love bombing is a contradictory blend of overwhelming affection and manipulation, often hard to recognize until it's too late. It typically starts with a bombardment of affectionate gestures, constant communication, and an intense focus on the relationship. Imagine the whirlwind romances depicted in movies, but in real life, it often has an underlying motive: to gain control or maintain a psychological upper hand in the relationship. John showers Mary with gifts, texts her good morning and good night without fail, and plans elaborate dates every weekend. While it feels like a fairy tale, it's a setup for creating an emotional dependency. Love bombing is rooted in a need for control and often stems from the bomber's own insecurities and desire for validation. Psychologists suggest it can be linked to personality disorders such as narcissism. The bomber uses affection as a tool to create a bond quickly, often to mask their own vulnerabilities. In John's case, his extravagant gestures are not just about adoring Mary. They are about ensuring she becomes reliant on his affection, thereby giving him control over the relationship. Early recognition of love bombing can prevent emotional distress. Key signs include excessive communication, rapid escalation of the relationship, extravagant gifts, and demands for your undivided attention. It's when the affection feels overwhelming rather than comforting, crossing boundaries rather than respecting them. Mary might notice that John insists on spending every evening together, gets upset when she makes plans with friends, or expresses love prematurely. The initial stages of love bombing can be intoxicating. The bombardment of affection triggers a rush of dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitters, leading to a high that can be addictive. This biochemistry can cloud judgment, making it hard to see potential red flags. Mary finds herself eagerly waiting for John's texts and feels a rush of happiness with each grand gesture, becoming increasingly invested in the relationship's intensity. Societal narratives around romance often glorify intense, whirlwind relationships, making it harder to differentiate between genuine affection and love bombing. In a world where grand romantic gestures are seen as the ultimate expression of love, the excessive nature of love bombing can be misinterpreted as true romance. For instance, Mary, influenced by romantic comedies and novels, might mistake John's overwhelming attention as the kind of love stories are made of, not recognizing the unhealthy dynamics. Understanding love bombing is crucial in today's relationship landscape. It's about recognizing the fine line between affection and manipulation, between genuine love and a control strategy. By being aware of the signs and understanding the psychological and societal factors at play, one can navigate these turbulent waters with greater clarity and caution, laying the foundation for healthier, more balanced relationships. As we move forward, we'll explore how the high of love bombing gives way to its more shadowed aspects, and how this shift impacts both the individual and the relationship. Chapter 2. The Highs, the Alluring Beginning. In this chapter, we navigate through the initial, enchanting phase of love bombing. It's a period marked by an overwhelming shower of affection and attention, creating an almost euphoric state in the relationship. We'll explore why this phase is so captivating and how it shapes our perceptions and emotions. The early stage of love bombing is akin to being swept off your feet. It's a deluge of affection, constant attention, and admiration. This can manifest in grand romantic gestures, constant communication, and an intense desire to be with the person at all times. Consider a scenario where Alice receives flowers every day from Bob, coupled with surprise dinner dates and passionate declarations of love. These actions make Alice feel cherished and valued, creating a sense of euphoria. Psychologically, this phase triggers a release of endorphins and dopamine in the brain, akin to the feeling of being on a natural high. It's the body's response to what it perceives as love and affection, reinforcing the bond between the two individuals. In Alice's case, her brain associates Bob's attention with pleasure, strengthening her emotional attachment to him. The intensity of the affection in love bombing can cloud judgment. The overwhelming nature of the attention makes it difficult to see potential red flags or the bomber's ulterior motives. It creates an idealized image of the partner, often ignoring or rationalizing their flaws. Alice might overlook Bob's possessive tendencies or his discomfort when she spends time with others, attributing it to his deep affection for her. Individuals with lower self-esteem might find the love-bombing phase particularly intoxicating. The intense affection validates their worth and can temporarily fill a void caused by internal insecurities. Alice, who has struggled with self-esteem, might find Bob's constant attention affirming, making her feel desired and important, something she has long craved. Love bombing often creates unrealistic standards for the relationship. The bombarded partner may start comparing every aspect of the relationship to the heightened experiences of the initial phase, leading to dissatisfaction when the relationship inevitably settles into a more sustainable rhythm. As the relationship progresses, Alice might find herself disenchanted when Bob's grand gestures become less frequent, not realizing that such intensity is unsustainable. The initial stage of love bombing, with its intoxicating rush of affection and attention, sets a foundation that can dangerously skew perceptions and expectations in a relationship. It's important to maintain a balanced view, recognizing the difference between healthy affection and overwhelming attention that serves to manipulate and control. As we move to the next chapter, we'll explore the inevitable shift that occurs in love bombing, where the once abundant affection begins to wane, leading to confusion and emotional upheaval. Chapter 3. The Shift, When the Sun Sets. In this chapter, we delve into the pivotal transition within the love bombing cycle, the shift from overwhelming affection to a sudden and jarring withdrawal. This phase is often characterized by confusion, hurt, and a stark contrast to the initial euphoria. We'll explore the dynamics of this shift and its impact on the individual caught in the cycle. The shift begins with a noticeable decrease in the intensity of affection. The frequent calls, messages, and grand gestures that were once a constant presence start to diminish. This change can be gradual or abrupt, but it is always significant. For instance, Alice notices that Bob's daily messages become sporadic. The surprise dinners and gifts that were once routine now occur less frequently or stop altogether. This withdrawal phase often leaves the recipient feeling confused and anxious. They might question their own behavior or worth, wondering if they've done something to cause the change. The contrast between the high of the love bombing and the sudden withdrawal can be emotionally disorienting. Alice may find herself ruminating over what she might have done wrong to cause Bob's change in behavior, leading to feelings of unworthiness and rejection. The shift in love bombing introduces a new power dynamic in the relationship. The individual who was once showering affection now holds power by withholding it. This imbalance can create a sense of dependency in the recipient, who may become desperate to regain the lost affection. Alice might start making more efforts to please Bob, altering her behavior or compromising her values in the hope of bringing back the initial intensity of the relationship. One of the most challenging aspects of this phase is the intermittent reinforcement of affection. The love bomber may occasionally revert to their initial affectionate behavior, giving the recipient hope that the relationship can return to its earlier state. This intermittent reinforcement can be incredibly binding, making it difficult to leave the relationship. Bob might suddenly plan a romantic evening for Alice, reminiscent of their early days, reigniting her hope and further entangling her in the relationship. Understanding and recognizing this pattern is crucial for the recipient. It involves acknowledging that the relationship's initial intensity was unsustainable and likely manipulative. This recognition is the first step towards regaining control and making informed decisions about the relationship's future. Thus, Alice must come to terms with the fact that the initial phase of the relationship was not a reflection of a healthy, balanced connection, but a manipulative tactic. The shift from intense affection to withdrawal and love bombing is a critical turning point in understanding and coping with this phenomenon. It's a phase marked by confusion, emotional turmoil, and a significant power imbalance. Recognizing and accepting this shift is vital for moving forward. In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into the emotional aftermath of love bombing, exploring how individuals can heal and regain their sense of self after experiencing this jarring transition. Chapter 4: The Impact Emotional Aftermath. This chapter delves into the profound emotional aftermath that follows the sudden withdrawal phase of love bombing. It is a time marked by self-doubt, hurt, and a quest for understanding. We'll explore the complex feelings that arise and the journey towards healing and regaining emotional equilibrium. Post-love bombing, individuals often experience a wide range of intense emotions. The abrupt shift from overwhelming affection to withdrawal can lead to feelings of betrayal, loss, confusion, and grief. This emotional turmoil is a natural response to the sudden change in relationship dynamics. Alice finds herself oscillating between sadness, anger, and disbelief. She grieves not just for the relationship she thought she had, but also for the loss of the future she had envisioned with Bob. One of the most significant impacts of love bombing is the erosion of self-esteem. The recipient might blame themselves for the relationship's downturn, internalizing the withdrawal as a reflection of their worth. Alice may start to question her own worthiness of love and affection. She might wonder if she was not enough to sustain Bob's interest, leading to a deep sense of inadequacy. A crucial step in the healing process is recognizing the manipulative nature of love bombing. This involves understanding that the overwhelming affection was a tool for control and not a genuine expression of love. It's about separating one's self-worth from the actions of the love bomber. Alice needs to realize that Bob's initial intensity was more about his own needs for control and validation than about a genuine connection with her. Healing from love bombing is a gradual process. It involves acknowledging and accepting one's emotions, seeking support from friends, family, or professionals, and engaging in self-care practices. It's a journey of relearning self-love and rebuilding self-esteem. Alice finds solace in confiding in her friends, participating in activities that she enjoys, and perhaps seeking therapy to process her emotions and understand the dynamics of what she experienced. Emerging from the emotional aftermath of love bombing also means reclaiming one's independence and sense of identity. It's about re-establishing boundaries and understanding that one's self-worth is not contingent on another person's approval or affection. As Alice heals, she starts to set boundaries in her relationships, focuses on her own needs and goals, and regains confidence in her ability to make decisions independently of a partner's influence. The emotional aftermath of love bombing is a challenging yet crucial phase for personal growth and healing. It involves navigating through a myriad of emotions, rebuilding self-esteem, and understanding the manipulative nature of the experience. This process paves the way for a more resilient and self-aware individual. In the next chapter, we will explore how one can rebuild their sense of self and regain trust in relationships after experiencing the tumultuous effects of love bombing. Chapter 5: Rebuilding, Regaining Self. In the aftermath of love bombing, the journey towards healing and regaining one's sense of self becomes paramount. This chapter is dedicated to the process of rebuilding emotionally, mentally, and spiritually after the disorienting experience of love bombing. We will explore practical steps and strategies to regain self-esteem, establish boundaries, and foster self-love. The first step in rebuilding is self-reflection. It involves taking time to understand what happened, acknowledging one's feelings, and learning from the experience. Self-reflection helps in recognizing patterns that may have made one vulnerable to love bombing. Alice starts journaling her thoughts and feelings. This practice helps her to process her emotions and gain clarity about her relationship with Bob, understanding where she might have overlooked red flags. Love bombing can leave scars on one's self-esteem. Rebuilding involves affirmations, celebrating small victories, and engaging in activities that reinforce one's sense of worth and competence. Thus, Alice begins to set small, achievable goals for herself, celebrates her successes, and engages in hobbies and activities where she feels competent and valued. She also starts practicing daily affirmations to rebuild her self-image. After experiencing the extremes of love bombing, setting boundaries becomes crucial. It's about learning to say no, understanding personal limits, and not compromising one's values for the sake of a relationship. Alice realizes the importance of boundaries in relationships. She makes a conscious effort to communicate her needs and limits to others, learning to stand firm in her decisions. Regaining independence is about reconnecting with one's own interests, making decisions independently, and enjoying one's own company. It's a process of rediscovering who one is outside of a relationship. Alice starts spending more time on her interests and hobbies. She takes solo trips, joins a dance class, and spends time with friends, which helps her enjoy her independence and rediscover aspects of herself that she had neglected. The final step in rebuilding is cultivating self-love and learning to trust again. This involves understanding one's worth, embracing one's flaws and strengths, and slowly opening up to the idea of trusting others. Alice adopts a self-care routine that includes meditation, exercise, and spending time in nature. She attends workshops on self-love and starts therapy to work on trusting relationships again. Rebuilding oneself after love bombing is a journey of self-discovery, growth, and empowerment. It requires time, patience, and a commitment to self-care. By embracing self-reflection, rebuilding self-esteem, establishing boundaries, rediscovering independence, and fostering self-love and trust, individuals can emerge stronger and more resilient. In the following chapter, we will explore how to move forward into new beginnings, armed with the lessons learned and a newfound understanding of healthy relationships. Chapter 6: Moving Forward, New Beginnings. Having navigated the tumultuous waters of love bombing and embarked on the path to self-recovery, this chapter turns to the future. It's about moving forward with a renewed sense of self, equipped with the insights and resilience gained from past experiences. We will explore how to approach new relationships with a balanced perspective and an empowered sense of self. The experiences of love bombing, while challenging, are rich with lessons. Reflecting on these experiences helps in identifying patterns and triggers, providing valuable insights for future relationships. Alice reviews her past relationship and recognizes her tendency to overlook red flags in exchange for affection. She resolves to be more vigilant and trust her instincts in future relationships. Distinguishing between genuine affection and love bombing is crucial in new relationships. Healthy affection is respectful, considerate, and mindful of boundaries. It grows steadily over time and is based on mutual trust and understanding. As Alice meets new people, she pays attention to how they respect her boundaries, how they handle disagreements, and the pace at which the relationship progresses, seeking a balance between affection and independence. Effective communication is the cornerstone of healthy relationships. It involves expressing needs, desires, and concerns openly and listening actively to one's partner. In her new relationships, Alice practices open and honest communication. She expresses her thoughts and feelings clearly and encourages her partners to do the same, fostering a healthy exchange of ideas and emotions. Trust is built over time and through consistent actions. It involves taking the time to get to know someone, observing their actions and behaviors, and assessing their reliability and integrity. Alice approaches new relationships with a cautious optimism. She allows trust to develop naturally, assessing the consistency between her partner's words and actions. Entering into new relationships after experiencing love bombing requires a balance of openness and awareness. It's about allowing oneself to experience love again, while being mindful of past experiences and learned lessons. Alice remains open to new love, but is mindful of the lessons learned from her experience with Bob. She understands that being cautious does not mean being closed off, but rather being smart about her emotional well-being. Moving forward into new beginnings after experiencing love bombing is a journey marked by growth, resilience, and empowerment. It involves learning from the past, recognizing healthy affection, practicing effective communication, building trust gradually, and embracing new love with awareness. Armed with these insights and a renewed sense of self, individuals can approach future relationships with a balanced perspective, hopeful for the genuine connections that lie ahead. The journey through love bombing, though fraught with challenges, ultimately paves the way for stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling relationships. Conclusion. In the garden of life, every experience, be it thorny or fragrant, nurtures the soul and shapes our journey towards love and self-discovery. As we draw the curtains on the love bombing trap, deciphering dynamics in modern relationships, it's essential to reflect on the journey we've undertaken together. Through these pages, we have traversed the turbulent waters of love bombing, a phenomenon as beguiling as it is bewildering, and emerged with a deeper understanding of ourselves and the nature of our relationships. This book has not only been a guide through the complexities of overwhelming affection, but also a lantern in the dark, revealing the path to healing and growth. The stories, insights, and strategies within these chapters are more than lessons. They are beacons of hope, illuminating the way towards emotional resilience and healthier connections. Remember, the experience of love bombing, though harrowing, is not a sentence to a life devoid of genuine love. Instead, it is an opportunity for profound self-discovery and growth. It teaches us to differentiate between the illusion of affection and the reality of sincere, respectful love. It reminds us to listen to our intuition, to set boundaries, and to value ourselves. As you move forward, carry with you the knowledge that you are not defined by your past experiences, but by the strength and wisdom you've gained from them. You are equipped to build relationships grounded in mutual respect, trust, and authentic affection. The scars of the past are not just reminders of what you've endured, but also symbols of what you've overcome. In the end, the love bombing trap is more than just a journey through the shadows of love. It is a celebration of the human spirit's resilience and its capacity for renewal and love. As you close this book, may you step into the world with a renewed sense of confidence, a deeper understanding of relationships, and an unwavering belief in the possibility of true and lasting love. May your heart be your guiding key and your journey towards love, a voyage of not just finding another, but discovering yourself.